Okay, so to create our virtual environment to run these Jupyter notebooks, the best way is to set up a virtual environment. So we're going to write a bash script, and this script will be able to be reused over and over again too for any future projects that you might do. So we're going to create a file, and the keyword to do that in bash is touch. We'll just go, let's call this create env. And then we will open this with a text editor. NeoVim is what I'm going to use, but you can use whatever you would like. So we open that up. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is for our bash script is just write this at the top, and this is not really relevant to data analysis, but it allows Linux to know that you want this shell script executed with the bash terminal. So first we're going to install our Python packages. So pip install Jupyter, and let's make a couple copies of this. You can put these all on one line, but just so it's easier for everyone to see, we'll do separate commands, and then we're going to install VirtualenvWrapper. And the documentation that we'll be following is on the VirtualenvWrapper website. Just copy this. And then we'll go over here actually, and we'll look up the Jupyter notebook. And we will see how to install that. So we'll go here, we'll click on documentation. Project wide, get started. Install and use. And there are a number of sort of variations. There's Jupyter Lab as well. We'll use both of those, but just to start off with, we'll just use the main Jupyter notebook. Okay, so we can just go pip3 install Jupyter. Now, if you have you don't have to use the pip3. I'm using Manjaro Linux, so it's got Python 3 installed by default. That's only if you have Python 2 installed, so don't worry about that. Okay, and she'll just delete that. And Jupyter Core, let's look up Jupyter Core. Let's see here. So yeah, if you install Jupyter, it's going to do that automatically. So we probably don't need that, but let's just see how this does. And so you can see in our directory we have create env, and we will also make another script just for your notes, but we do need to change the permissions because you can see that it's highlighted white. That means that the permission has not been changed on it, so we can't, if we try and run the script, it says permission denied. So what we have to do is type sudo, and we'll change the permissions on it for all users, which is the code for that is 755. Create env.sh, enter my password, and then oops, my mistake, chmod. And then you can see now that it's highlighted green, and if we go back and run this command now, it will install everything for us. Okay, so I already have some of this stuff installed. So now we have our dependencies installed, and now we need to set up a virtual environment. Now you don't have to do this, but it is recommended. Otherwise you could sort of, eventually if you keep installing things in your default Python installation, you'll run into problems eventually. But if you just plan on doing data analysis, then you should be okay. So now that we have all that installed, we will create a virtual environment using VirtualenvWrapper. Now, VirtualenvWrapper is, I think, the easiest way to create a new virtual environment. There are a number of ways to do that, but I just like using this one. So, all you have to do is, once you have that installed, is you can set an environment variable, but we're just going to do the bare minimum here. And that is we're going to type source virtualenvWrapper.sh. Okay. Now, and then we are going to type this command. So we did this command, and now we're going to do this one, and that is make virtualenv, mk env, and we will call this data analysis env. Okay, and then the next thing you have to do is you have another, so in this virtualenvWrapper.sh is where these commands are coming from, right? Make virtualenv and work on live in this virtualenvWrapper script. So now if you press tab, you can see, well, I have all these environments made already, but we can go work on data analysis env, and then now you see that, well, I guess it moved us there already by default, but that's how you change. If I wanted to go to my Django env, I could go, and then now it'll switch me to that one. And this will be automatically, these environments will be recognized automatically by other text editors as well, whether you're using Visual Studio Code or Sublime Text or whichever you choose. Okay, so that's pretty much as simple as that. And then Now this is so if we just go back to our data analysis env, we go pip list, you can see that this is a brand new installation of Python, and we only have these 3 packages listed. So next we'll have to install our dependencies for our extra Python packages.